singing to a single star.
To Seeking the Light of a Thousand Suns, where we explore the magical and the mystical in our everyday lives. In today's episode, we're diving into the essential element of fire. The elements influence every aspect of our daily lives, whether you're seeking balance, inspiration, or a deeper connection to the universe. Understanding and working with these elements can be transformative. Imagine harnessing the grounding stability of earth, the creative spark of fire, the fluidity of water, and the clarity of air. And let's not forget spirit, the unifying force that connects us to the divine and unseen energies. So light your candles, grab a cup of tea, and settle in as we embark on this elemental journey together. Let's discover how to bring the magic of the elements into your everyday living.
Hi, Gia.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
It was fun. I'm doing good.
Good. So today we're talking about fire. The last episode, we were talking about air. So if you missed air, go back to our last episode. The fire element in magic brings passion, transformation, and dynamic energy. It is the force that drives action, willpower, creativity, transformation. Understanding and working with the fire element, you can empower your magical practice, helping you to ignite change, achieve goals, and manifest your desires. And I love that because when I was with a group, they always said the fire was the spark, right? So like when you're doing any type of magical working, spell working, ritual, or anything like that, fire was always considered like the snap spark, like, the two things rubbing together to get that
Fire
lit.
started.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. The flint and steel. So some of the symbolism and attributes of fire here. Some of the symbolism are the pentacle. The fire symbol is often depicted as an upward pointing triangle. Some of the colors are red, orange, and gold. The animals are dragons, lions, and phoenixes, which I don't know if you could tell that I was pretty excited and pumped, especially for the dragons and the phoenixes. Plants, the spicy herbs like cinnamon, ginger, cayenne. Stones, we've got rubies, carnelian, garnet, and the direction for fire is south.
That's right. There's a lot of other stones associated with the elements and a lot of other plants and animals and such. So just keep in mind that these are just brief examples. The first things that come up when it comes to firestones, mostly in the red category, is going to fall under a red and orange category is going to fall under fire. Some of the qualities are passion, courage, transformation, and energy. Keep in mind that those are all of the positive attributes. There's also the opposite of those attributes, which would be like rage, destruction.
Lust.
Yep. Aggression. So the energy of fire is active and assertive. The season is summer when the sun is at its hottest and brightest. Time of day would be noon. The fire zodiac signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And the chakra would be the solar plexus or Manipura.
When I think of the fire element, I think of multiple things. Like I do, like for me, I always think of the phoenix or the dragon. But then on that, like you were saying, on that opposite end, I think of Darth Vader. That dude was born out of fire, and he was all like the negative components of fire and not the positive components of it. But we're watching Star Wars right now.
Well, as we were talking about this, immediately I could hear my mom in my head going, "Do I need to light a fire under your ass?"
Yes,
To create action,
yes.
to
I've been
get the
saying that
fire
to
started.
I know. It's like I gotta light a fire under my ass, but I mean it's the same thing. My parents always said that to me too. Some of the magical tools associated with fire. For the you've got the wand or the I never say this word right.
Athame.
Thank you. I always mess that word up. Which are used to direct energy and represent the fire element. If you think like of the dragon, right, and you think the fire being directed out of its mouth, it's similar with these tools. Candles, so which are often used in rituals to symbolize fire and focus your intent. Censer, a vessel for burning incense or other combustible materials. That's why I like the whole combustible.
Like flash paper.
Yes, yes.
Again, candles, we talked about those in the last episode too. You'd want the candles in the color scheme of the element. And if you can't, a white candle is always a good substitute. I also recommended for someone on a budget or needing multiple colors, you can be thrifty. You can go to the dollar store and buy a box of multicolored birthday candles.
I love that.
Yeah.
Suggestion. I'm gonna go buy some at the dollar store. Not the dollar store. They're kind of upsetting me right now. But yes, I'm gonna buy a bunch of cheap birthday candles.
So the really hard part about those small candles like that is actually having something for them to stay upright in. You can always take a lighter or a match and warm the bottom of it and then stick it to a plate or stick it to something from the warmed tacky wax that you created with lighting it on the other end. Magical uses for fire. My favorite is transformation. I love that. And it, whether or not it was about lighting a fire under the butt, so I'm also in a fire sign, and that's probably why I love transformation and change, man. Weekly, something's got to move, change, be different, be done. And my husband's like, no, can't we just leave everything the way it is? No. So my hair color change, I change everything then that doesn't as much affect him, like hair colors and clothing and, moving things around and stuff like that. But yeah. It's also another one is courage. Asking the element of fire for bravery, confidence. Another one is passion. There's a lot of love spells done in the element of fire and protection as well, creating barriers against negative energies. And this will kind of be talked about a little bit in our warding episode, which will also be previous to a previous episode back.
And then like some of the herbs and plants, for cinnamon, for example, promotes that passion, success, and protection. Ginger enhances power, courage, and vitality. Cayenne pepper, I love cayenne pepper. I even like sprinkle that in my eggs for breakfast. It's good for you. Used for energy, protection, and dispelling negativity.
This is a little bit off topic. But you do know that cayenne pepper reduces inflammation?
Yes.
Now think about, what is inflammation in an element?
It's unnecessary. Well, let me think. It's unnecessary buildup caused by something negative, like too much stress. Is that where you're going with it?
I think that if I was going to say inflammation as an element, I would say inflammation is the element of fire.
Oh.
It usually causes heat, swelling, pain, redness.
Oh, I
Yeah.
can totally see that. The interesting part, though, is to bring down that inflammation, you have to use positive fire.
Mm-hmm.
That's really cool.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Cayenne pepper's really good for people.
So deities and spirits. So some of the fire deities are Brigid, Pele, Sekhmet, Morrigan, elementals and spirits would be like the salamanders.
Oh, I love salamanders.
The salamanders and fire spirits. Again, like we said in the air episode, we will be going further into like the elementals and the watchtowers and the quarters and things like that.
And one thing too is interesting because you are a fire sign. I am an earth sign, but I was born on the hottest day in the city I was in summer. I was born of fire. I'm just kidding. I don't know. I was making a ridiculous correlation. But no, I'm huge about transformation too, just as you are. I love adapting and changing. I really do. Feels so good. So we're going to go through right now and we're going to give some spell work examples. Okay. These spell work examples, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you the instructions for the spells. Maya is going to help provide some guidance on them. Okay.
I'm just going to tweet like a bird and throw some extra shit in there.
I love it. I love it. And so, with a lot of these, I mean, not all this has to be done like verbatim or per instruction. You're going to have to probably, get a little creative depending upon what you have. But these are just going to be the basics of those spells. Tweak them and use them. Do a little research on it. I'm kind of saying do a little research because sometimes if you tweak it too much, it might turn into something totally different that you might not want. So here we go. The first one is the transformation spell. The purpose of this spell is to initiate personal transformation and growth. Materials needed: a red candle, a piece of carnelian, and a piece of paper.
Probably a pen.
Yes, and a pen. I know, I did actually forget that.
It wasn't on the, it wasn't, yeah.
Yeah, wasn't on the spell list. All right, so the steps are: light the red candle and place the carnelian beside it. Write down a habit or aspect of yourself you wish to transform on the piece of paper. Hold the paper over the flame safely and say, "Fire, ignite the spark of transformation within me." Burn the paper in a fire-safe bowl, visualizing the old being consumed and transformed into the new, like a phoenix. Carry the carnelian as a reminder of your commitment to change.
So a couple things that I would like to say is, like I said in the air episode, if you don't have a red candle, a white one would suffice. They do not have to be 7-day candles. They do not have to be 3-wick candles. They do not have to be votives, tea lights, pillars, or whatever. Whatever you want to use is fine. I generally will use tea lights because they are so much easier managed. You can let them burn out. They're fairly inexpensive in packages. If you do not have a carnelian stone, a clear quartz or another stone of red would suffice. I would encourage, if you're going to write on a piece of paper a habit or aspect of yourself that you wish to transform, be very, very clear on what you would like that transformation to look like. Pretend like you're going into GPT or some other AI. You have to be very clear. Do you want to increase an ability? Do you want to release an ability? Do you want something else to transpire? So, for example, let's say,
Let's use weight loss.
okay, weight loss. Let's say weight loss. You would have to do the brainstorming session of what is connected with your weight loss journey that you want transformed. So for some people, it's not being motivated. For some people, it's starting and then not continuing. For some people, it is not sticking to a meal plan or good foods or whatever the case may be. So see how it's got to be detailed and broken down. So if it was me and I wanted to transform weight loss, my personal issue is motivation for one, and then for two, sticking to the plan. It's always easy to get it started up and to enjoy it, and then it kind of falls off my plate or out of, like, it just falls out. So on the piece of paper, I would say, fire, ignite the spark of motivation within me to continue on my weight loss journey. Or fire, ignite the spark of transformation for me to stick with a healthy meal plan. So the more specific you get, the better. And then when you burn the paper, you're releasing that out into the universe, that magic, that spell, that request. Now, if you wanted it the reverse, that works as well. I personally wouldn't use it in reverse and just say, I ask fire to transform and just burn all the fat off me. I would not do something like that. It is too vague. The universe listens and they deliver whichever is the least path of resistance. And you don't want to end up
with disease that could cause the weight loss or something.
Correct.
Yeah.
You don't want to end up having to take a whole bunch of chemotherapy treatments that cause repeated throwing up for the weight loss, that kind of thing. I really urge that you're very specific, and it looks like a goal plan, a written out goal plan, versus just letting the universe pick however it happens.
So another example would be quitting smoking.
So in that instance, I would be like, if we're doing the opposite, like the shedding of the pounds, I would say, fire, ignite the spark of transformation within me to have the willpower and the strength to stay on my tobacco-free plan, or kill the urge to smoke. then I would say instead of transforming, I would say burn, destroy. I'd use the other parts of fire and say it that way. Element of fire, I need you to burn the desires to smoke, the, so I just like, I'm sorry, some people already know this, and that's fine. There are also people on here that don't. And sometimes when you buy and pick up spell books or you read things and they are not very specific step by step, they end up with some terrible magic and a lot of pain and regrets that weren't necessary.
You have to be very thoughtful and put a little bit of work, into thinking about potential ways that
it could go wrong.
Yes, the consequences. So as Maya mentioned before, like, you don't want your weight loss journey to be a result of a disease, right? So you have to be very careful in wording of it. You can also include, maybe at the end, something about, I ask this for me to also stay safe and healthy, right? Something of that nature, so that it includes like that, think of it as like a contract, right? You want to have your inclusions and exclusions within it.
I always do the to harm none, so motive be. And yes. I do that because harm none would be anybody outside of me and also not myself.
Yes.
So.
As the workings don't just affect us, even when we're doing them for us.
Mm-hmm.
There can be a take somewhere to give. So the next spell is courage and confidence. The purpose of this one is to boost courage and self-confidence. Materials needed are a gold candle, a piece of tiger's eye, and a drop of ginger essential oil. If you don't have the ginger essential oil, real quick, you can add ginger to olive oil. You would just heat it up slightly on the stove so that it mixes the properties together, let it cool. And really, you don't have to heat it on a high setting. You just heat it on a low setting just so that they can mix. And then put it in a little bowl, heat safe bowl, let it cool. And then you've got yourself, it's not a full essential oil, but it is an oil with the ginger properties in it. Here are the steps. Anoint the gold candle with the ginger essential oil. Light the candle and hold the tiger's eye in your hand. Focus on the flame and say, by the power of fire, I summon courage and confidence. Visualize yourself acting with bravery and self-assurance. Let the candle burn out safely and keep the tiger's eye with you to maintain courage.
So for those of you that don't know what anointing a candle means, anointing would be dressing it with this oil. If you don't have ginger, I've heard that there are some herbs, rosemary being one of them, that are a good substitute for everything. But to anoint a candle, you're going to, like, let's pretend that this is a candle. Shoot, I need another hand.
Like, I'll try, but I don't think it'll go through to your screen.
No. So you're going to take the oil in your fingers, like, let's say these two, okay? And you are going to anoint from the middle outward. And then you're going to do the middle and outward the other direction. You're creating things coming toward and moving away. It has something to do with the polarity. I can look that up and drop something in our Facebook group, a little bit more on that, so that there's a more clear explanation from a source that is credible. But that would be anointing. And some people in part of this will also draw symbols on them. Of course, if you have a real small candle, that would be difficult to do, but you can do it with the end of a head pin. You can do it with a toothpick. And you can draw things that symbolize, like for this example, self-confidence or courage. You could draw, like, I don't know, a shield. For me, if I was doing this confidence spell, I would make it again a little bit more in depth with what I'm saying. I think it was in a past episode with Lily where I said that spell work is kind of like SMART goals. Anybody that's worked for a big company knows what SMART goals are, but it's specific, measurable, actionable, and
time bound.
Time bound. If you use that formula for your spell writing, it's going to be awesome. So for this one, what I would be saying is I would be including what I need courage for, right? And if it's something that's bigger than just an instance, that's okay too. Like one of mine was, I did one of these to help me get courage to actually come on to podcast video, because we were audio only, and it was a huge anxiety factor for me. So I asked for the courage and confidence to be able to be on video, not let my head get all wrapped around and ruined over it. Was it still stressful and scary? Yes, but I'm here on video. So that's what I would do. I would make sure that I had it, the courage and confidence to speak my mind, the courage and confidence to start a new job, the courage and confidence to just make sure that you make it really clear.
And I like too that you mentioned about how to properly anoint the candle. The way I think of it is when starting at the middle, you're starting at earth, right? And it's very much to me similar to the as above, so below. So, you're like you're saying, you start at the middle, anoint, you can anoint downwards, you can anoint upwards, but you have to do both in each direction.
Yeah, there was a reasoning for it. I think it has to do with polarity, but I will get something out on our Facebook group that is a much more explanation. I, learned it so long ago that I just do it and I,
So then, excuse me, allergies. So then our next spell here is for passion and creativity. Purpose: to ignite passion and stimulate creativity. The materials needed are an orange candle, a piece of garnet, and cinnamon incense. The steps are as follows. Light the orange candle and the cinnamon incense. Hold the garnet and visualize a fiery light igniting within you, filling you with passion and creative energy. Say, fire, awaken my passion and inspire my creativity. Spend time working on a creative project or engaging in an activity you are passionate about. And then keep the garnet on your workspace to maintain the flow of creative energy, or in your pocket.
So for this one, you could use a red or an orange candle, or again, a white one if you don't have a color. Piece of garnet, could be any red stone. Garnet is a really good one for this year. And cinnamon incense. Everybody, or I shouldn't say everybody, but a large majority of people have cinnamon in their home somewhere. You can burn cinnamon incense on charcoal, or I'm sorry, cinnamon on charcoal.
Do that.
It doesn't smell as good.
But I like the sparks it makes.
But cinnamon has a lot to do with in a lot of different spells. Another one is money, where you blow cinnamon out your front door at the first of the month every month. Anyway, again, this is another example of where I would not just awaken passion and creativity, because it may not be what you wanted or your specific awakening to be. And remember, the word passion is very, very, very vague.
Mm-hmm.
So in this instance, so Gia, you're writing your second book.
Yes.
Ready for publishing. In this instance, if I was you, I would be asking fire to awaken and inspire the creativity to help you throughout with ideas and artistry and creative flow through the entire book. If it was somebody that had to create new music, again, it would be, awaken my, I'm just going to take the word passion out. I'm sorry. If you want to use it, you can, but I'm going to take it out because that word can mean so many things.
It can go both ways. Yeah.
So for me, again, it would be awaken my creativity and inspiration to create, whether it's being the new music on paper or the new music instrument wise or however have you, and be more specific. You can put an end time on it. You can put for the next 6 months. You can put for the next week. You can put till completion of a project. Like if somebody's going to do a whole album, let's say. And then keeping the garnet on what it says your workspace could be whatever space it is that you're going to be using for this creativity.
There's some great examples.
And passion's a good word. I'm not saying it's a bad word. It's a good word. It's just, I would personally interchange it with something else. I would be awaken my, and use something else other than the word passion. Awaken my motivation.
Yes.
Awaken
my drive,
Yep. Awaken my senses.
Love that.
Awaken my mind.
Yes.
So many other things I would use.
Open
instead.
that door of perception. So the fire element in magic is a powerful force for transformation, passion, and dynamic energy. By incorporating fire correspondences, symbolism, and spellwork into your practice, you can harness this element's energy to drive change, boost courage, and ignite your creative potential. Embrace the power of fire and let it fuel your magical journey.
We'll also put out something on the Facebook group that has more correspondences, attributions, and also what they mean when they say the parts of the triangle, because hearing it doesn't make sense. But if you see it and you think of the platonic solids and you think of once all of the shapes are put together, so like fire would be this one, air would be the one below, you know, and once you start getting them all together, it forms the pentacle, which is then, you know, all the elements. It's kind of like, sort of like the sacred geometry of it, if that makes sense. So we'll put that stuff out on the Facebook page for people to use if they choose to do so.
Understanding too, I mean, I love that. I'm gonna actually look for it as well, because the thing of it is like this translates to so many various aspects. A lot of those symbols translate over even into alchemy. It's really cool. So, you know, if it's not as difficult as like learning Latin, but if you understand the basics of it, of a word, right, then
They
you can
start
understand
clicking.
what it means.
It
Yes.
starts clicking really good.
It just
Yes.
all comes together.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep. So we really, really appreciate everyone that is joining us, that continues to join us, and anybody that is new. Without you, we wouldn't have this opportunity. So we would like to thank everybody. Please don't forget that we do have the Facebook group where we're putting content extras, and that is Seeking the Light of 1,000 Suns, but it's 1,000 and not spelled out. So Seeking the Light of 1000 suns. Our website is www.seekingthelightofA1,000suns.com. Again, that is the number 1,000.
Also, if you're on TikTok too, pop on over to the Seeking the Light of 1,000 Suns, because we're going to be presenting quite a few lives throughout. Some are going to be interactive, where we'll ask for some help, some suggestions. Great place too for all of us to collaborate together. So check us out on TikTok.
So thank you, everyone. Have a blessed night.
Thank you.
The next element will be West next time. Blessed be.
Thank you.